2 rounds into the 2013 Monster Energy MX Nationals here at Murray Bridge in South Australia. Todd Waters, 2 from 2 from MotoX KTM overall for this series. He's for real this year.
He is for real. He gave himself a bit of a scare in that first one, didn't he? And we spoke to him on the podium, and it was a case of I was getting a little bit cocky. I was a little bit too cocksure of myself, and he gave himself a wake-up call, and then came out in that second moto and just asserted his dominance. Got a gap over Billy McKenzie, and he really looks the goods, doesn't he, right now?
Yeah, now Waters, he actually crashed in Moto 1 while leading, stalled the bike later on during that moto, came back to third. That Moto 1, was won by Jake Moss. For Waters, though, that third combined with his super pole position again, 5 points, and a brilliant Moto 2 win, that sealed him the overall ahead of Billy McKenzie.
It did. Look, and we spoke to him after the GoPro Super Pole, and he's been focusing on that and working on that. And he and his team know there's 50 points up this year to win that every time out. That's better than a moto win, so Todd Waters knows that's crucial. And we saw it last week with Billy McKenzie, and again, Todd Waters gets the win as a result of those 5 points in Super Pole. So he's focusing on the right things right now, Todd Waters, and he really does look the real deal this year, doesn't he?
It's definitely interesting stuff. Third overall, Jake Moss. He rebounded in Moto 2. Had an early incident with his brother Matt, came back. I think he ended up 9th overall in that race. That result boosted him, combined with his win, onto the podium. He was pretty happy for Campbell Mining Suzuki.
He was very happy, you know. He's a very intense character, Jake Moss, you know. He was happy after the first one, but then not so happy with the overall result. But in terms of his championship, he set himself up very well. And Jake Moss, in that first moto, man, he looked really good.
And completing the top 5, it was Lawson Bopping. He put in a really nice ride in Moto 2. He was third in that one, and that sealed him 4th overall. In 5th for the round was Matt Moss, second week in a row that he finished 5th. So these guys, they're putting points on the board right now, but they really do have some work to do if they want to elevate to that next step.
They do. I think Lawson Bopping just needs that start. We saw his race pace was exceptional, but if he can get that start, the result today slid him up into 3rd place overall in the standing so far. So Lawson Bopping, Matt Moss, Jake Moss, these guys are all right in the mix, you know, but they just have to find that extra 10th that Todd Waters has right now in order to get to that space.
Hard luck stories for the round. Monster Energy Kawasaki's Adam Monia and Jay Marmont, both out of Moto 1 and DNF, so that was pretty tough. As far as their series go, they're going to have a lot of work to do to bounce back.
Look, they do, but we know Jay Marmont, we know the way that guy's worked. He was really hurt after that first moto. We saw him really struggle to get up. Very rarely will you see Jay Marmont have a crash and then DNF as a result of that. So he's got a tough week coming his way, Jay Marmont, because we're back-to-back with Juan Thaggy now. So we know how tough that guy is, but tomorrow and the next day, he's going to be a pretty sore boy.
For Dale, 2 crashes in the first turn today. He rebounded, ended up getting some points. Kurt Gibbs, he also had a crash in the first turn in Moto 1. He managed to bounce back for a pretty solid Moto 2. This series is just so wide open.
It is, and the other thing with that as well, if we look through the first top 10 guys in Pro Opens, they've all got junior national championships, they've all got championships, so I expect to see a lot more depth in this field and a lot more guys go forward, and at some point Todd Waters is going to have an off day, and that's when these guys need to capitalise.
Definitely an awesome day, but for now, the MX1 highlights, courtesy of Brett Trigg Visual. It really was an awesome day. Todd Waters, unbelievable. Anyway, in the MX2 category, brought to you by Modal, today, a new winner, Luke Clout. How's that kid? Wins Moto 1. a calculated second in Moto2. He was just awesome for the overall.
He was awesome for the overall. We knew this kid coming back after that round at Maury last year was going to be fast. I don't think anyone, myself included, really expected him to be that close and that fast early in this series. A technical issue with Josh Keisha in the first one with a tyre, and then Cade Mosey with a bike expiring. But man, Luke Clout, you got to give it to him. The hard yards have gone in. He looked fresh on the podium, and honestly, I think the kid's a title threat. You know, Luke Stike looked a little bit fried after that moto, but Luke Clout, man, the kid's got form and speed right now.
Serco Yamaha's Luke Stike, he retained the red plate with second overall. Third in Moto1 after a crash, bounced back for that Moto2 win. Stike's going to be there all year long though. You can never count him out. I saw him just behind us here crash in Moto1. He bounced back, stayed calm and worked his way through.
24th to 3rd in that moto. That's the beauty of these 30-minute motos. Guys have got that superior conditioning. They can continue to charge, and we saw that from Luke Stike today. He was fantastic.
How about Brock Winston on the KTM two-stroke? Privateer driven all the way from Queensland down here. That was awesome for third overall.
It was amazing when you consider that Brock Winston drove himself down here. Dan Reardon went out to see him in the break. Brock Winston was out there washing his own bike. This is a true privateer. The kid quit the sport a few years ago. He's back now, and look at what it's rewarded him with. You know, he's doing really well, Brock Winston. Had some help from Jason Daniel at LKI. Just pitboarded him because he was here for the day. And you know, you've got to love that story, haven't you? That in itself is a spine-chilling story because he's done so much for himself and he's doing it for the love of it and no other reason, isn't he?
Yeah, it's been an awesome day here. Great fun. Thank you for your help. Remember, stay tuned to MotoOnline.com.au for all your Monster Energy MX Nationals news.